Hi guys, my name is Sam and this is my review for Strands of Bronze and Gold from Jane Nickerson. It is a fairy tale retelling of the Bluebeard story. I've never actually read the Bluebeard original fairy tale, but the story that was told in here is very familiar to me. I feel like it was seen on maybe like a Wishbone back in the day. I was very familiar with the Bluebeard story once I started getting deeper into the story and it was unraveling. The story is about Sophie. She is a 16-year-old girl who goes to live with her wealthy godfather, who she has never met, after her father dies. What I read of the Bluebeard story on Wikipedia, it is actually a French fairy tale. So her godfather is French and he lives in Mississippi in America in the 1800s. So she's from Boston. She goes down to live in Mississippi with him. She's never met him before, but he always sends her gifts and letters. He never sends anything to her other siblings. She has 2 brothers and an older sister. He's the only person in the family with red hair, so bronze. So she gets down there and she's very excited about everything, and everything kind of starts to unravel. So first off, I'm going to talk about the cover of this. I really love how they made it I think it's beautiful. It's very misty, but it also looks very old. It really fits in with the story. As far as the story, I gave it a 3 or 4 out of 5 stars. It's definitely a thumbs up, but the more I've sat and thought about it, the more I'm not really sure if it's a 4 or a 3. Originally I was leaning more towards a 4, but now I'm more leaning towards a 3.5. I can't really decide. So first off, the things that I like about the story: 1, the author does a really good job of having this sense of dread kind of the entire time. Even when Sophie is completely unaware and doesn't really know that things are off, there's still this sense of like something bad's gonna happen. So definitely, and that just keeps going up and up throughout the book. There's different things that happen that just make you kind of really fearful for her. The second thing that's connected to that, and this is a bit of a trigger warning for abusive relationships, but there is a abusive relationship in here. So it does a very good job of having this cycle of violence and, you know, the forgiving and the walking on eggshells, and Sophie's convinced that she can contain this man and that, you know, she can walk on eggshells and everything will be fine, and the servants around her are telling her everything will be fine if she just can influence his moods. And as you come to realize, no one can influence his moods. So he's a very moody man and he does things that are completely unforgivable. Nice moments in here. There are some breaks in the terror that you feel, but it's a lot of seclusion, which is true of abusive relationships. Is a lot of making her feel very useless and keeping her away from everybody as much as possible. So there are points in the book, this is kind of a con, there are points in the book that are kind of slow because I think the author's trying to make you feel the seclusion that Sophie feels and make you feel just that she's bored and she's alone and nothing really happens to her, and the pretty dresses and the pretty house isn't enough, and it does get slow at points. But I think it was a really good book. It's a really good retelling from what I could see of the fairy tale on Wikipedia. If anybody has read the Bluebeard fairy tale or is really familiar with it, please comment down below. I would love to hear about it and hear what you thought of it if you read this book and could compare it to the Bluebeard story. So one of the cons in this is that there is a slavery subplot to it. I'm a little mixed on my feelings about it. It's nice because it does give the character Sophie some likability with her involvement with the slaves, but it kind of feels a little thrown in there and you don't really get any kind of wrap up with them. You sort of do. It just seems the author's trying to fit you into the setting, and so they added that slavery point, which, like I said, gives her some likability, Sophie, but I'm not really sure it worked out as well as it could have. So the more I think about it, the more I'm not really sure I like that so much. But overall, I give this book, like I said, a 3 or a 4 out of 5. I really can't decide. It is a good book. It's a good retelling. It's a really fast read. If you like fairy tales, I would recommend reading this, even if you haven't read the Bluebeard story, because you really don't need to. I think there are enough references in modern culture to this Bluebeard story that you will be able to pick up on what's going on really easily. And if you don't, then it's a really great mystery and it's pretty awesome. So overall, I really enjoyed this book and give it a read. This book was recommended by Misty of the Book Rat. I will leave her YouTube channel down below. She always is really good about doing fairy tale retellings, so I always get my fairy tale recommendations from her. Guys, I'll be back soon with another video, probably a review, because I have been finishing up a lot of books lately, so I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!